Do you know the number one reason why people do not progress at the pace they should in business? Why 3, 5, 10, 20 years later, they've not built the business they had the potential to build? In a word, or two, slow decision making. That was 3. But slow decision making. I think what happens in most businesses is it's so tough to get a business off the ground. It's a bit like getting that boulder and moving the boulder. Is the first 2-3 years you'll either crash and burn, or you'll get that rolling to get you to the 5-year mark, the 10-year mark. The unfortunate thing is that 90+% of small businesses that get to that 10-year mark hit a plateau. And they hit a plateau where they pretty much turn over and make the same amount of money for years. Now, there might be a spurt in it where all of a sudden it goes up a level, but that quite often is because they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. It isn't often actually done by predetermined strategy, because most businesses that are at 10 years and have become what I call the zombie businesses, they're turning over and making roughly the same amount of money every year, are doing so because they're not reinventing their strategy. They're not being tactical and agile for the marketplace and looking at what they can do next. And that's because so many people become risk averse. It was so tough to have got the business to where it is that they're just not quite ready to take that other risk or to put it at risk. But that's why it's a zombie business. That's why it doesn't grow. And then of course you get to a point where that business owner's now 50, 60, sometimes 70 years old, and they want to exit the business, but it's been a lifestyle business for years and years and years. So of course it is not worth what the business owner wants, because the business owner typically is valuing the blood, sweat and tears that have got it to survive all these years. And they've had a decent living, some people, and that's good, but their valuation of the business is based on all the hard work they put in. But of course a buyer isn't looking at that. The buyer is looking at what will that business do for them. Now here's the thing. Let's talk about who buys businesses. Yeah, there's only 3 people that buy a business. It's either a management buyout, it's a competitor, or it's a private equity company. The private equity companies, it's really got to be making 10 million plus and run like a completely well-oiled, processed machine. So that kind of knocks those out for 99% of SMEs, which leaves you with either a management buyout or a competitor. Now, the management buyout, quite often people don't realise that, or they think their team can't afford to do it. There are ways around that, and if that's something that you're really passionate about, is the legacy and handing it on to the team, give me a call. I'll walk you through exactly how to get the monies for your team to take the company over. But typically what most people tend to do is look for a buyer. And that buyer is probably going to be 2 or 3 or more times the size of your company. And the reason that they're going to be 2, 3 or more times the size of your company is because they're the only people that would have the monies to be able to buy your company. Yeah? Because could you buy a company that was of equal size and turnover? Have you got the monies to do that? Chances are probably not. So if it's going to be a company that is 2, 3 or more times the size, what they're looking at is what the business will do for them. Yeah? So that's a very different lens to look at a business. Now, the unfortunate thing is, again, another unfortunate, is that most people go to a broker, and the brokers are really good at selling you that they'll sell your company. They're not so good at selling companies from my experience. What they do is they produce a teaser sheet which is based on fiction because it's got very little relevancy to the company. I know this because I've spoken to lots and lots of different brokers, seen lots and lots of teaser sheets, then had a chat with business owners, and the business owners 9 times out of 10 say, yeah, don't take any notice of that. This is what our business is really doing. You have to kind of fight through all of the tosh that's on there. Kind of a worse version, if you like, of an estate agent. where they big up the house and don't tell you that there's a dual carriageway 4 inches from the kitchen window. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, coming back to selling the company, I promise you, you'll need a 2 to 3 year run up in order to sell the business for anywhere near what you typically want as a business owner. And the reason is, you are generally, if you've been in business for 10, 20, 30 years, you are very tax efficient. You're very good at keeping your tax bill under control. That's not really what you want when you want to sell the business, because you want to show the buyer that this is a really well run, profitable business. And for that, you have to put certain processes in place, and you have to start re-engineering the finances to show that buyer its true potential and what they can do with it, because you want to sell your company. Now, most business owners treat a buyer almost like they're trying to rip them off, like they're some sort of scam artist. They're not. They're a business that's trying to buy your business. So there's a lot of psychology and dynamics and financial engineering and shaping of the business that needs to be done, and it can't be done in 5 minutes. It takes 12 to 24 to really get it into a shape where it can kind of even remotely get the kind of money that you really want for the business. So that's me on a little rant again. If you'd like to find out how to sell your business and get the most amount for it in potentially the shortest amount of time, please do get in touch, and let's see what we can do and put you a deal together that will make all those years of hard work truly worth the grind. Talk to you soon.